home of Judge's Bakes, which is the custom cake shop in Kampala. I have been in the design industry for close to 14 years. I have done graphics design, events, fashion, and then I started Judge's Bakes about 3 years ago. Now, the goal of this meeting is just so we can share some of our experiences, my guests and I hope you'll find them productive. When you came in, I don't know if the screen was on with our guidelines, but if it wasn't, let me just run through them. One, we are recording this meeting. So if at any moment you get disconnected, you can always find it on YouTube or on our social media. If you have any questions concerning the topics we are discussing today, please hold on to them until the Q&A part of the meeting. That way it doesn't get lost in the chat. Another thing is that all our mics are off, obviously, everyone can see that. And the person who is speaking will have their mic on and their video on. Lastly, if you have any other questions that do not concern, that do not pertain to the topics we're discussing, you can send them by email to the email address concepts.ug@gmail.com. We'll share that a little later on. Yeah, those are the guidelines. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you're keeping safe, especially during this coronavirus saga we are going through. Today, I am joined by two ladies, Chantal. I don't know, Chantal, can you wave? Just give us a small wave, yes. Chantal and Jean. Jean's video is off. Can one of my co-hosts please pin it? Yeah, just get her back on. Yes, we're going to be talking about inspiration, branding, as well as building a niche business in the market. Chantal is going to cover branding, and Jean, the niche business, and I will be talking about inspiration, and I'll be talking about inspiration and the design process. Just give me a small moment and I'll get started. Is from things that you have around you. Excuse me. Is from the tangible things around you, whether it's from buildings or from nature, from works that have been done by other people. You can draw inspiration from those, not necessarily meaning you're going to copy and paste what someone else has done, but picking elements from those things that fascinate you and merging them into one new design. Now, you can also use events that are happening in your life. You could use the birth of your child or the marriage of a celebrity or a celebration that's happening to also inspire you to come up with a design. The cake that we're going to look at next is a gorilla cake that we designed for the World Wildlife Day in 2017 or 2018. And apart from, other than making a full gorilla, a 3D gorilla, or using a print of a gorilla's face or body, we decided to mold the face of the gorilla onto the side of a cake, blending it into the body of the cake, so you cannot quite tell where the face stops and the cake starts. But we used a current event that was happening and used that to inspire us to create this design. Okay, moving on. The third source of inspiration could be what you surround yourself with, the people you surround yourself with, the relationship you have with them, the relationship you have with just your surroundings. In this case, some people, some creatives are inspired by conflict. When they see a war going on, then they'll get the urge to paint about that, or to sing about that, or to create for that event, that environment that they're in. In that way, we, oh, sorry. In that way, we always draw inspiration from those kinds of things, that what's happening around us. And sorry. Yes, actually now is when I should have been talking about the gorilla cake, not before. But yes, what was happening around us then was the World Wildlife Day, and we used that gorilla inspiration. Okay, the final point is the greatest source of inspiration you can get is your client. When you listen and you understand where they're coming from and what they want, then you will be in a better position to create something that is pleasing to both them and yourself. We usually get asked to create 40th birthday cakes, and other than getting producing a cookie cutter kind of design all across the board, we listen to each particular client, try to understand what makes them tick, in a sense, and what they enjoy or what they're best known for, and use that to inspire the designs. Now, the cakes we're showing are from 40th birthday celebrations. And as you can see, it's a common theme, but we have 3 very different designs. The first one, the lady was very classy, very fashionable, very in the moment. That's why we chose that, because that spoke to her personality. The second cake, the handbag, was ordered by a husband, and he said his wife is a very practical lady. So he picked a handbag as the inspiration, and said she did not like lots of color and the like. So we made a very proper, very smart design for her. Now, the final design, to illustrate this point, was for a very fun, very bold lady, very outgoing, and I don't want to say loud, but she's bold, as you can see her design. It spoke to the kind of person we understood her to be. Whereas it's the same theme across for all of them, when we listened to what the clients said, we came up with 3 different designs for all of them. Okay, now when we have understood what inspiration is and where you can find inspiration, the biggest question is, how do you turn what you have found as inspiration into something tangible? After you've spoken to your client and you've listened to all they've said, then how do you turn that, what you're hearing or what you're reading, into, in my case, a cake? There are about 6 steps in the design process, and we're going to use one cake we made in 2018 to illustrate the different steps, with pictures thrown in for effect. Okay. Yes, I was still speaking about the design process. After you've defined the project, then you get to collecting the information about that project. Now, in the case of this client, she wanted an extravagant cake, she wanted it big, and she wanted it newsworthy. So we understood that in terms of the expectations. Now we had to collect information about what it would look like. We went to the internet and looked up other castle wedding cakes. We looked up pictures of castles and of palaces and of cathedrals, just to get a sense of what would inspire us and what elements we would pick from those different sources of inspiration to merge into a final design. We also had to consider the materials we were going to use in the construction of this cake, mainly the cake. We had to understand and remember that whatever design we came up with had to be able to use the cake as the foundation. So we couldn't go very extravagant in terms of size or detail. Then also had to consider where the wedding was going to be held, the reception. It was outdoors, so you have to think of that. There's possibly rain on that day, or it will be very hot. So you consider all those, put all that information you've collected, the pictures, what you know about the materials you're using, how you're going to transport that cake from the studio to the venue. And then we move on to the third stage, which is developing a design. We use a lot of sketch work, coming up with several designs, discarding them, and building on those that we like until we have something that we are very comfortable sharing with the client. As you can see in the image that has the sketch, can I go back on, please? The image that has the sketch, we have all those details of the heights of the cakes, how wide they are, what details we're putting where, what materials we are using. And that was a final sketch. So from that, we prepare a colorized sketch that we send off to the client for their approval and any recommended changes. So it's a back and forth from there for a while. And then when they sign off on the final design, then we get to making the cake for real. Now, there's an image I did not talk about, the one that has the pans and the tubes and all that. That is part of our design development stage. You can use dummy cakes. If you don't have those, I always improvise with cake tins. Get the correct size of tins and pile them and build until you're comfortable with what you have. Then you can move on to the final sketch, send it to the client, get their approval, and then start working on the cake. Yeah, that concludes my presentation. I'm sorry for the glitches, for the cuttings on and off, but yeah, that is my presentation on inspiration and the design process. So I hope you have picked something from it. And if you have any questions, please wait until the Q&A, which will be after my final guest, and you can ask from the three topics we are covering. Okay, just before Chantal, who is my first guest, comes on, I'm just going to run through the guidelines again. We're recording this session, so if you get cut off like I have, you can find it on YouTube or on our social media. You can send in your questions at the end of our presentations. And if you have a question that's not tying in with any of our topics, please email it to concepts.ug@gmail.com. And also just please keep your comments and your videos civil and comfortable for everyone. So, Chantal, let's put you up so you're on the screen. Welcome. Let's just unmute you. Yes. Hi, Chantal.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi. Hardly. Can you speak up?
I am speaking up. Can you hear me now?
Not very clearly. Now I can't hear you at all. Hello? Hello?
How is this now?
Oh,
Hi, is
that's
this clear
okay.
now?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
My volume is at the
You can
maximum.
proceed, Chantal. Welcome. I'm very
Thank
happy that you
you.
accepted my invitation. If you'll just give us a brief introduction about yourself before you get into your presentation.
Okay, I'm Chantal, obviously. I am an adult, a wife, and a mother of two. A brief
We did not share.
on the bakery. Can you hear?
Yes.
Okay, a brief on the bakery is we began in 2013 baking. The first cakes were baked in 2013, but the first commercial cakes were baked in 2015. 2013 was basically trial and error, not trial and error, but let me see how far this goes. It was something I loved doing. I had done a few courses. I had looked at a few books and YouTube videos. So I was basically baking for family and friends. Then when it grew slowly, but it basically grew by word of mouth because one would take a cake, then talk about it to the other, or the other person would be at the party, and then they would call and order, and somehow the business grew from cupcakes because we began with cupcakes. We were only doing cupcakes for birthday parties. Then our aim initially was to do cupcakes all through. But then friends and family began asking for big cakes. So we're like, you know what, go bigger, go bigger, give us a bigger cake. I don't want cupcakes. My child wants a bigger cake. So we went into the bigger cakes. The first designs were questionable, but we moved on from there. It's just word of mouth that pushed us through the first 2-3 years of work. So the business is young, fairly, if you take into consideration that the first years that we didn't really work a lot towards business development, the business is a bit young. I would give it comfortably, I would say 2016 is when we decided to go full on and be like, you know what, this is Creme de la Creme, we're here to bake your cakes for you. So I'm here to talk about branding. A little bit of background is, for me, growing the brand has been a very hard process. It hasn't been easy. We are still growing the brand right now. We are still discovering new territories. We are still correcting mistakes. So it hasn't really been easy. But the most important points to note when growing a brand, I think, would be, how do you want clients or the public to perceive your brand? What do you want to be known by? What personality do you want to portray to people? What are your brand values? And once you identify that, it's easier for you to work according to that. You're working towards that particular point, that particular goal. So for Creme de la Creme, when I set out with the cupcakes and the smaller cakes, because cupcakes were fairly new on this market. Most people didn't think of cupcakes as something to present at a celebration. So we decided to give it like a friendly, to have a friendly feel, to give the brand a friendly feel, to have a cool and stylish product, which was a luxury at the time, but at least it was something new and something that was playful, that was different on the market, because the market already had some big bakers. So it wasn't going to be easy to penetrate that. So we decided to start with the cupcakes, and then we grew slowly from that, mainly because people kept on pushing us on. I don't know if you can still hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So people kept on pushing us on, and they were asking for bigger cakes. They were challenging us to widen our territories, to broaden our boundaries, and we went in a step-by-step fashion. We knew our strengths, but we said, you know what, let's do this. Someone has asked for it. If we can't, we will communicate. Our brand values have always been um, credibility, consistency, quality of product, and the quality of the service, being trustworthy, knowing the client and knowing what the client wants and knowing how to deal with the client before and after the cake. These seem like textbook points that everybody must know, every company must have these ideas if you want to grow a brand, but they're very, very critical. Like you cannot, it's very hard for you to grow a brand if you're not credible. You've seen, even on Facebook, we have a page, name and shame, where a client, a disgruntled client will come and just say whatever has happened between her and the service provider. It might be true, it might not be true, but that post, that small post, it might be a sentence, maybe even just a line or even 20 letters can damage your brand because you know you lose credibility instantly. So you have to build credibility, you have to be trustworthy, people have to trust you. There are some clients who come and tell you, you know what, I'm giving you 100,000 or 150 or 1 million shillings, do for me this cake. And they're giving you this on blind trust, blind faith. They don't know you, they've never worked with you before. But how do they trust that, you know what, I've given Creme de la Creme this order and they're going to execute? And it is because you're credible. It's because they've got your number from somebody or they've got your details from a page where they feel like they can trust you. Another thing to do with branding of your business is how are you going to present your brand? How are you going to project your brand onto your clients, onto your target audience, onto the general public? How are they going to, how do you want them to think when they think about your brand? And you can achieve these via mainly like visual, you know, like how are you going to present your signage, your location, yourself to the clients. If a client comes and meets you one-on-one, how are you going to project yourself? How are you going to present yourself? Are you going to look like you don't know what you're talking about? You have to know what you're talking about. What does your location look like? Are you welcoming people or is it just a bake to order business? If it's baked on order, there's not really much that matters. You can bake from home, you can be in a secluded area and you just deliver. But if you're in a shop or if you have a street front location, how are you going to present it? How are people going to know where you are? Communication, how are you going to communicate to your clients? Your clients need to constantly hear from you, but you don't have to bombard them with information. They have to know that, you know what, this is my, I got a cake from her last year, a birthday cake or a wedding cake. Yeah, she still bakes, but I don't want to see nonsense, so to speak, nonsense from her every day. Like you don't need to, like, an information overload is very bad because a client can mute you and they'll unfollow you and they'll be like, you know, I'm sick of hearing from her. I don't need cake anytime soon. When I need the cake, I will go to her. So package your communication in such a way that the customer is going to hear it or listen to it or read it or see it just when they need it. They may not know that they need the cake tomorrow, but you know, there are times you send your client a message and you say, Happy Women's Day or Happy Eid Mubarak or Eid or Merry Christmas. And they're like, oh yeah, thank you. By the way, I need a cake tomorrow. I forgot to let you know, but I need a cake. So what we do at Creme de la Creme, we choose particular like points. We choose particular days, particular times. Like if you did someone's wedding last year on the 28th of April, and today is 28th of April, you send a message, client a message. You have a reminder. You send a client a message and be like, you know what, happy anniversary. And be like, oh my gosh, these people remembered my anniversary. And yes, we did remember, but that was because we were prompted by a phone. It's not like it's in my mind and I know everything. No. I got a reminder. Oh, I checked my diary last year and I saw that, you know what, Lydia got married last year on the 28th of April. So happy anniversary, Lydia. How is it? Good luck. Stay safe and sanitize. And you know, small things like that just mean so much to a client. it's something else about brand presentation and how you're going to put yourself on the brand is how you, how you're going to put your brand on the market. Are you going to be the same as everybody else on the market, or are you going to be different? If you're going to be different, how different are you going to be? Who are you targeting? And why are you targeting them? You have to be emotional, like business-wise, you have to be emotional about some of these decisions. Like if you can't do something just because Lydia is doing it. Creme de la Creme cannot do a gorilla cake. So we know our strength. If we cannot do a gorilla cake, I'm not going to try to do a gorilla cake because we can't. So differentiate yourself, provide something. If the client wants a gorilla cake, they know where to go. If the client wants another type of cake, they know where exactly to go. So be different, like be in your own lane, so to speak. Most people use that these days, but be in your own lane, be different, know what you can do and how you can do it, and provide that. So at Creme de la Creme, most of our, I'm a bit selfish in that I try very hard to try and to steer clients in my direction. I listen to them and I know what they want. So I try and drive them towards a certain direction, which we are comfortable with, and which we also think that clients might be comfortable with. So if you want like a cake for your wife, and you can't, if you cannot achieve a certain concept, I try not to push it. And if a client insists that they want that, I recommend them. I know who can do it, and I recommend. So we normally go for the regular round or square cakes, tiered or single tier. We know the designs that we can do. We do just clean, straight finishing, simple, maybe the word to use. We love flowers, a lot of flowers, a lot of metallic colors, gold, silver, rose gold, bronze. We love tall cakes. So you'll find most of our cakes are tall, 6 inches, 5 inches, 7 inches, 8 inches. So this is what we are comfortable with. This is what like makes us different. Because being different doesn't.
Hello, Chantal. Hello. I think she has gone off. Oh dear. Okay, while we'll try and reach Chantal, I think not to waste a lot of time, let's, sorry, my video was off. I think we lost Chantal there. Let's move on to Jean. Jean, are you on? Jean is a baker as well. She owns Jollity Health Treats, and it's a very revolutionary business that she's attempting to build in an environment that's not very, I won't say, it's a new business, and she's going to speak to us about how you can build a business in a niche of a marketplace. Let's just unmute her and put her video on. Hello, Jean.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Can you get me clearly?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone, and thanks for taking the time to tune in to this session. Thanks, Lydia, and thanks, Chantal, for the great information that you've shared. So I'm going to begin by just giving a small and brief background about myself. I'm married, a mom to 3 kids, and I have a background. My profession is actually not in baking. My profession is in shipping and logistics, which I was doing before I began to bake. So when I left my shipping and logistics job, I wanted to have something else that I could do to bring in income. And I wanted something that I could do, which I could do at home, some kind of work I could do at home. So I thought about what it is that I like. And I've always had a sweet tooth. I've always loved cakes, and I've always loved to eat them, but I didn't know how to bake. So what I did is because I had time, I went online, watched many videos, YouTube, read a lot of articles, went onto Google and searched and learned basically how to bake. So everything that I know now was done through trial and error. Anytime I would bake something and it doesn't come out well, I would go to YouTube, go to Google and ask, why did my cake sink? Why did all those things? Because at that time, we didn't really have Cake Shop Uganda, and we didn't really have so many people on WhatsApp. So there were not many people who you could call and ask what to do. So when I decided that I want to start baking, I knew that there were so many bakers out there already. And I wanted to do something that's different from what they were doing. And now, one of the biggest problems that I had been facing was with my weight. And because I love to eat cakes, I didn't want to stop eating them. So I decided to start making cakes which are which are still tasty, but with more natural and fresh ingredients. So instead of like strawberry flavor, I'll get the actual strawberries. Instead of lemon flavor, I'll get the actual lemon, squeeze it, so that you get nutrition from the cake that you're eating. I reduced on the amount of sugar, like if a recipe said, put let's say 1 cup, I'll cut it in half, put half a cup instead. So that way I was still enjoying what I wanted and yet cutting out on the number of calories that you normally take in. So when I started, I started selling to friends and family, and people liked the stuff that I was baking. And because I was going for all natural, I've never really used margarine or what people call it, or Blue Band to bake up. I've always stuck to butter, which is a bit pricey as compared to Blue Band, but I went with it because it's fresh, it's natural, and it actually tastes very good. So when people started tasting the things that I bake, I started getting recommendations from so many people. And now that I was making fresh, so people were like, you know what, since you're already using, vegetables and fruits, why don't you try doing something vegan? And because I learned everything that I know from the internet and through research, it wasn't something that was new to me. So I went ahead and did lots of research about vegan. What is it? What does that mean? What does it entail? So as like the way I started through trial and error, I started making vegan cupcakes and vegan cookies and vegan cakes. And when I started making that, guys are like, okay, so you're doing vegan, why don't you try gluten-free? So I was like, okay, why not? Again, I went and did lots of research. Now, gluten-free baking, anyone who has tried baking gluten-free. Now, gluten-free is basically wheatless, gluten-free, using flour that has no gluten. And the main flour that we use here is wheat. There are other types of flour that have gluten in them, but the main flour we use here is wheat. So baking without wheat is the hardest thing that you can do. Any baker here will tell you that. In fact, a lot of the business that I get is other bakers sending their clients to me because they don't even want to risk it, because it is something that's so hard. It took me over 6 months just to get one recipe that didn't crumble, that tasted good, basically that was edible. And I tested so many types of flour. We have so many types of gluten-free flour. All that flour that you use to make porridge is gluten-free. So all the types of porridge flour that you can think of, rice, cassava, millet, sorghum, all those are gluten-free flours. So I experimented with all the different types of flour. So now the reason why I decided to focus on orange and sweet potato is first because of the nutrition. They are filled in nutrition. So they're like vegetables, basically, eating a cake that is made with vegetables. And that's one. Second, they are low in carbohydrates as compared to like all the other gluten-free flours out there. So I decided to concentrate on those two. And when I started making the bakes with that flour, I got people asking, okay, so why don't you buy that flour from me? Mix it so that you can buy it from me. So basically all the ideas that I've got are because clients have pushed me out of my comfort zone to do what it is that I'm doing. So this is what we call niche business. So first I'll need to define what is a niche business. This is a business where you're targeting a market that has an audience that has a specific product and service needs. So in the caking business, my niche is basically healthy gluten-free bakes. there are so many other types of niches. Actually, Lydia's niche is out over the top designs. Chantal's niche is tall and round and square cakes which are well decorated. So all the different bakers out here all have different types of niches. In the tailoring industry, your niche could be maybe suits or maybe wedding gowns. So the advantage of concentrating on a niche business is because the clients that you have are specific and special clients. So the market is not so big, and they're a bit flexible because it's something that not everyone offers. They are flexible in terms of the product that you give them. Most of my clients were so understanding when I would send them like a cake and they eat it and it's not nice. They tell me, oh my God, this is the worst cake I've ever eaten, but Bambi, next time make it a bit sweeter. Oh, it was too hard. Oh, it was too dense. So I kept basically my clients were my guinea pigs. So that's the good thing about being in a niche business. There's space for trial and error. Then another thing, you don't have a lot of competition because most people are trying to target a huge number of people. When you concentrate on your niche, there are not so many people out there that are doing the same thing. So competition is limited and you get to really enjoy the market. Then another good thing about being in a niche business is you can tell your marketing in such a way that the audience will understand. So like for me, what I do is my main, actually, the reason I started doing this was to make healthy bakes, but gluten-free bakes was something like that came out of it. And it was something that was unexpected. It's not something that I had planned for. So the healthy bit helped me to tailor and come up with other different types of products that gluten-free and vegan. Then another good thing about being in a niche is you become an expert in your field. So I've been trying to get other bakers to bake gluten-free, but most of them are like, you know what? I'll just send my clients to you. I don't want it's too much work. So the more times that I bake this with gluten-free and all this, the more I learn, the more I become an expert at it, the more times I get recommended. Anytime someone needs something specific, especially according to what it is that I'm doing. Then, so you would ask yourself a question, how do you find a niche market? Just like what I did, it was something that was personal to me. I wanted something that was healthy and yet satisfied a need that I wanted, which was cakes. I was not willing to let go of cakes, which is what most diets force you to do. So instead of letting go of it, I decided to find a solution. So if it's something that's personal to you, you start with that. Then I always tell myself, if it's something that is affecting me, I can't be the only person in the whole world. There are definitely other people who are suffering with this same problem. So you can go out there and find out, am I the only one? And in the process, you'll discover how huge the market is, how many other people I need of that product it is, or the service that it is. So now, how do you create a niche market? Just like me, just like the way I've done it, it has taken a lot of time. I started baking in 2016, and it's now 4 years later, and I can't even tell you that I've learned everything. I am still in the process of learning. I'm still in the process of growing. It takes a lot of time. You have to be very patient. Then another thing is you have to look out for other people. Just because I said competition is not a lot, doesn't mean it's not there. So you find out which other people are doing exactly what it is that I'm doing. So what I did is I went out looking through Kampala. I mean, there are definitely other people who are gluten-free, other people are health conscious. There has to be someone else that is supplying or producing this same kind of product or service. So I went out and found the other people who also do what it is that I do. And I found ways of partnering with them. For example, in the health business, I discovered there are groups of people who go on like specific kinds of diets, and I encourage them. I mean, if you can still, and most of them, the problem that they face is they end up falling off the wagon by cheating, I would say cheating, by eating the wrong snacks. So when I gave them this option, many of them were happy. So the heads of these, let's say, groups have been very happy to partner with me. Then another thing with how to create the market is you have to approach your clients personally. Don't just go on Facebook and Instagram and send messages. Oh, okay, yes, you can do that. But when you actually pick up a phone and call someone and say, hi, my name is Jane, I bake gluten-free. Can I tell you about it, or can we meet, or what? When people know you personally, they are more invested in what it is that you're selling. So I've made lots of connections, lots of friends by doing that. So don't be shy. I'm actually not an outgoing person. I'm more of a home person. I don't really like to go out and hang and everything. But when I got into the business, I got the courage to start calling people that I don't know, just to talk to them and mix with them. And in that way, I've got many recommendations from those people, because when they know you, when it's personal, then they are more attached to what it is that you're selling. Then another thing is, make sure you do a lot of research. Don't just start doing something. You know, there are people who I see coming up with healthy cakes or what, but the way that they are selling it, it's very clear that it's been copied. They've seen someone who's doing it, and they're trying to copy what it is that other person is doing. They haven't done any research. So if you've done research, you know the reason why it is that you're doing what you do, how you came up with something, how you came up with another thing specific. So make sure you do a lot of research. Then another way to keep your niche market is always make sure you follow up. There is no client who have ever delivered a cake or something to without calling them and asking after, how was it? So I get all kinds of feedback because of, not everyone likes pumpkin, not everyone likes sweet potato, but I always call back and find out how was it. So I always get feedback. Some tell me, oh, I loved it. Others are like, okay, I like it, but maybe change this or change that. So the feedback that I've received from the clients has helped me to improve. Then you have to always look out for opportunities out there. Don't just stick to baking or maybe cupcakes. So like what Chantal was doing, there were other opportunities out there that she hadn't gone out to try and get. So look out and see what other opportunities are there. Then you have to make sure you remain relevant. Don't just stick to what it is that you're doing. Try and diversify. Like I started a YouTube channel so that people can learn how to make videos. I post recipes on my website. I have Facebook, I have Instagram. I'm going to go on Twitter, try and see if I can go like Snapchat, all those other things. So you have to keep on trying to do something new so that people always remember you each time they are looking for that specific thing. So that is basically it for me about how to start, how to keep, and how to maintain a niche business. Thanks for listening in, and I'll hand it back to Lydia.
Thank you, Jean, and thank you, Chantal. I hope, Chantal, you're back on. We're going to now open the Q&A session of this meeting. So if you've got any questions, you can tap the raise hand icon on your screen and we'll unmute you. Then you can ask your question, or you can go into chat and type your question there. Let's see if we have any questions. If you have any other questions not pertaining to the topics we've discussed today, inspiration, branding, and building a niche business, then you can send them to gmail.com. To concepts.ug@gmail.com. That's on your screens now, and we'll answer them in subsequent meetings. Okay, let me see if we've got any questions. Okay, we have a question from Catherine. She's asking, what do I do when I don't feel inspired? Where and how can I feel inspired? I have 3 solutions for when you don't feel inspired. This is whether you're working in a bank or in a kitchen or wherever you are, even in the farm. When you don't feel inspired, first thing to do is rest. Do not force it. You cannot force yourself to be a certain way when your mind is not on the same level as you are. Rest and just recharge. Another thing to do is, when you don't feel inspired, is renew yourself. Do something you enjoy doing, whether it is hiking or visiting friends or just chilling with a movie. Do that, renew your mind, get it to the place where it can start to do what you want it to do. And the third point on when you do not feel inspired is, just a moment, I wrote this down so I couldn't forget it, and I can't find my notes. Okay, and the third, yes, the third point when you do not feel inspired is to, oh, just give me a short moment to find my third point, which I think I have lost. Okay, rest, renew your mind, and just recharge. Get your health in order. Get your relationships in order. When you're stressed, you are not going to be in a position to be creative. If you fought with your husband, go and talk it out. If your kids are making you yell, go and deal with them. Recharge, deal with those relationships, and rest. Yes, those are, that is how I deal when I don't feel inspired. That is what I do. Okay, if we can just get Chantal back on for a short while so she can finish her presentation. She got cut off in the middle. Okay, let me just find Chantal and unmute her. Chantal, yes, Chantal?
Yeah?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes. Okay, if you
All
can
right,
just
so
pick
sorry.
up from where you broke off from.
Sorry, my connection failed at some point. So
Yes.
I will just rush through the last few pointers that I had, so we keep time.
Okay.
I talking about like brand differentiation, and now I will just go to a few questions. Like ask yourself: Are you reachable easily? Does the client find it hard to transact with you until the end? Are you helpful to the client? How do you handle feedback? How do you handle after sales support and client relations? Do you know your strengths, especially with design and technique? And do you know your cash cow? I feel like when you're joining business, you need to know your cash cow. Cash cow is one of the most important things in creating your brand. Like for us at Creme de la Creme, we have three very important aspects, things that we need to bake and to have ready for the clients in order for us to make money. And those are birthday cakes, wedding cakes, and other small cakes like loaves, cupcakes for a shop in front. So we know our cash cow, and our cash cow is the birthday cakes. We know that at least every week we are going to get a certain amount of income from the birthday cakes. And by birthday cakes, I just mean the small cakes that do birthdays, baby showers, bridal showers, anniversaries, like office parties, group occasions. Those are the small cakes, the ones that from 100 on the design and the flavor you've chosen. So if you know your cash cow, is it still echoing? Sorry. Can you hear me, Lydia?
Yes, you're not echoing anymore. You're fine now.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you know your cash cow, it's very, very easy to identify, first of all. Like, I don't know what Jean's cash cow would be. Maybe it would be like...
Can you put her back on? I want to take a picture of her. Okay, no, you leave that. Yeah,
so, oh, not why? If you know your cash cow, it's very, very easy. A prized cow that gives you the most milk, the highest number of liters a day. You are going to give it the best grass. You're going to take it to the cattle dip. You're going to immunize it. You're going to give it the medication it needs on time. So if you've identified that in your business, you're going to give that time. You're going to spend a bit more time researching it and how to make it better. Because right now, this during this COVID season, we're not doing weddings. The weddings we're doing are scientific weddings, which are almost birthday cake size. So most of them, I for one, I'm grouping them as birthday cakes. We're not doing the humongous weddings that cater to 700 guests anymore. I don't know when that will fall back on, but we're not doing that. So as birthday cakes are our main income generators, we should spend more time marketing them, advertising them, taking good pictures of them so that you can take, and other clients who haven't yet taken something from you can see, and maybe that will encourage them to come and place an order. So you need to decide that, and then when you decide that, you will know what to give your attention, and you know what your brand to be identified with. So you can have very many aspects, but it's very hard to have to have two of those cash cows, so to speak, on what you can't do. You will know what you can take and what you cannot take, and it's going to be very hard to disappoint a client. How do you take feedback? How do you handle your feedback? Do you seek your feedback? For like Jean said, we normally ask for feedback. I try as much as possible to follow up a client and ask how the cake was, if they liked it, did it get there in one piece, if it was delivered by a boda, did the client like the product, did they like the way they were handled? Because you're never going to please everybody. It's very hard for that to happen, almost impossible. You can't please everybody. You're going to have some clients who are not going to be happy with your product, and they're going to give you negative feedback. Sometimes the feedback is going to be really, really harsh. How are you going to handle it? We have ways of handling it depending on the feedback. You have to handle it in such a way that, the client is not happy, but try and make it like smoother for them. Let them not take it really, really badly, because there's so many lengths that a client will go to get back. Like some clients are going to put you on WhatsApp group chat, others are going to attack you on Facebook, others are going to bring back the cake to you and be like, I don't like this cake, it is very small, or that I don't like the design, give me back my money. You have to know how to handle that. You have to know how not to get back to the client, how not to retaliate the way they've come to you. Always be the loser in terms of, yes, I did wrong, I didn't give you what you want, because you're not the client. But how are you going to do it to make the client not lose and to make you not lose much also? Sometimes you're going to have to offer refunds, or you're going to give a refund and get the cake back, or you're going to give a refund after they've taken the cake, they can't return it, or you're going to give like half a refund or a replacement cake. You need to know when you should do that, so you're not taken advantage of, and how to do it so that the client also feels like, this person hasn't taken me for granted. You have to keep communicating with your clients, like text, use small, don't bombard them. Like I had said that earlier. Don't, give a client the satisfaction that, I'm dealing with this client and with this person, and she's going to treat me with respect. She's going to handle my order privately. Some clients, I've had clients outrightly come and tell me that, I've taken this cake, please do not put it on Facebook. Please don't put it on WhatsApp. Please do not tell people that, or if the cake has a picture, like a picture of a couple or someone, they're like, please do not take a photo of that cake, because I don't know where it will land. So you have to give the client that satisfaction. Let the client know that, yes, if they do not want their cake on Facebook or on WhatsApp or on Instagram or wherever, you're not going to put it on. Some people want their privacy. Some people don't want to share like their feedback, like a feedback message they give you. They don't want you to share it, and they come out and say it like, I've sent you this, but please delete, or please do not post it. So the client needs to feel safe in you and needs to feel like, they're protected, their order is protected. Clients are like babies, so we have to treat them like that. They have to get what they want within limits, of course, but we have to do this in such a way that our brand is either being promoted or we are projecting it positively. We are doing what we wish. We are showing our brand in the light that we want it to be seen, and we are maintaining our values and our personality. I think I'm done for now. Thank you, Lydia and Jean, and everybody else who's on for listening.
Thank you,
all of us.
Thank you, Chantal.
You're welcome.
Thanks for a good presentation. in the second part too. So now I'm opening up our floor for comments or contributions that you might have, or any questions that you might have on the topics we talked about today. It's up on the screen what we've covered. So if you have any question, please put it in chat or raise your hand and we will unmute your mic. Okay, Dee, I have unmuted your mic. Hello, Dee.
Lydia, how are you?
I'm well, how are you? Hello? Hello? Can you hear Dee? Or can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, can you hear the person asking the question? Because I lost her for a while.
No, we don't.
Okay. Oh, she might be off. Okay, does anyone else have a question? You can pop it in the chat. Cake Angel, no, sorry. Angel Asimwe is asking, what advice do you have for someone interested in cake supplies and accessory rentals and sale? Let me see, Jean and Chantal, does any of you want to answer that? What advice do you have for someone interested in cake supplies and accessory rentals and sale?
I assume she's interested in maybe being the provider.
Yes.
And yes, you can never have enough cake suppliers or like suppliers of cake accessories. So it depends on what exactly you have. Have you looked at what is on the market? Are you, how competitive are you going to be? Are you going to only provide it within Kampala, or you know there are so many other bakers of country there. There are very many bakers in Mbarara, Kabohe, in Gulu, I know 3 bakers, Mbale, Ginger. Are you like, would you like to start a cake supplies business? Are you going to be what supplies are you going to be providing? Is this just the ingredients or just the deco tools? I am not so sure. Maybe
Okay, Angel, I don't know if that answers your question or if you'd like to build on what Chantal has shared while we respond to some other questions. The chat is strangely very quiet.
Chantal has said. Just like with baking cakes, the supplies on the market, there are so many supplies that people in cake business need. Are you going to target the people baking, let's say, bread? Are you going to target maybe like cafes or hotels or individual bakers at home, the ones doing wedding cakes? I think because I'm concentrating on, my focus is on finding a niche. Even with baking supplies, that's the best thing you can do. Then another thing you need to do is just go out and see which other people on the market are already doing cake supplies. Now, for example, All at a Discount sells supplies, Bakers Boulevard sells supplies, Cake Angel sells supplies, and so many other people. So if you go out and find out what they're already supplying, you'll be able to know where there's a hole in the market. I'll give an example. Since I'm in a niche business, the biggest challenge that I had before I concentrated on the flour and everything, because I used to bake cookies like for different things. So I used to get requests from clients for different types of cookie shapes, and I never found those cookie shapes on the market. So I would have to go order off Amazon, wait for 3 weeks for it to come. Then I've missed that client. I'm hoping that I'll get another client that's also doing the same thing. So if you find out what it is that people want that they're not getting, and there are so many things out there that people want that they're not getting, then you'll be able to find out what it is that you can supply. So there's no business. That's not a good idea. Every business is a good idea. You just have to find a way in which to approach it so that you can be able to get the clients that need what it is that you're selling. Because right now, let's say in the rental business, there are so many people who already rent out cake stands, but many of them do it for weddings. Are there any other type of things that you can rent out? So do research before you start on that specific type of business. That is my advice.
Responding to that question, let me see who asked it. Yes, I think it was Angel. If you're not clear on what we've shared, you can always email us and we'll try and go in depth with the advice. I will also liaise with Jean and Chantal and we'll respond to that question by email. We've got a question in chat. At the start of this year, I revised my work and changed pricing, but already have clients who have been supporting me. My question is, which is the decent way to let these clients know that I changed my pricing without making them feel offended and stay with them still? This question is from Yvonne Nakawesa. She's asking, how do you change your pricing but still be able to retain your clients after you've told them that you've changed how you're charging? Jean and Chantal?
Okay, I'll go first with this.
Okay.
Because I've done it before. There are some products where I had to change the pricing by increasing the price. And that was mainly because maybe the supplier had increased the prices, or Umeme had increased the prices, or things were scarce on the market. But don't tell them that it's because the price of butter has increased from 8,000 to 10,000, because next year it will be back to 8,000 and they'll expect you to reduce it by that 2,000 that you had increased it. The way to increase the price is to show how are you adding value. Yeah. So the reason why you're increasing the price is because I'm making it better in such a way that you're going to get a more tasty thing. The packaging is going to be more presentable, maybe slightly bigger, or sell the value of what it is that you're selling, and they'll be willing to pay extra for it. Yeah, that's it.
Value is priceless. So, yeah, Chantal, you can go on.
That happened to me too. Okay, for me, it happens every beginning of the year. Every beginning of the year, we revise our prices. But this year, we didn't revise prices, we revised sizes. But when we revise prices, because it's our policy never to, I don't have to explain the need for the price change. Like Jean said, all you have to do is tell the client that, you know what, we are increasing, like you're going to get more value for the buck you're paying, for the money that you're paying. I don't have to explain to you why I've changed the prices. I don't have to tell you that now I'm paying more rent or that I have more staff. No, just tell them, you know, you can compose a small message and say, new price guide for Creme de la Creme. And you give them, like, you cannot just give them new price guide, but try to sweeten it for them. Like, for instance, you can say, we've increased our flavors. Give them, I always prefer to call it a bullshit sandwich. Like, give them a good thing, then the price increase, then another good thing. So you tell them, yeah, we've widened our menu. We have more range to our product. We have this. Then you tell them prices have increased. So small is not 80,000 anymore. It's now 100,000. And then you also add, you close with another good thing. You'd be like, you know what? You have a choice of the following fillings with your cake. Like if you're taking vanilla, you can have a jam filling or a strawberry filling or a buttercream filling, so that they know that, you know what, the price has increased, but there's something different. There's something they've added there. There's something they are going to give me more with the cake. Or if you cannot increase if you're scared of increasing the price, like this year, because of so many changes at the bakery, we were scared of increasing the price. What we did is we revised the sizes. So we changed the sizes. We started doing slightly smaller sizes. Instead of a size 10 that you were getting for a certain price, we started doing a size 9. So we got dummies. We packaged it in such a way that we got dummies, a 9-inch dummy, a 10-inch dummy, 11 and whatnot. And then we took pictures. So when you ask for a small, we tell you this is what small is going to be like. That way you're going to receive the cake and you're going to know that that's the exact size that you receive. That's a picture that you got from the dummy. So we revised sizes, not dummies, not prices this year. So I don't know, it depends on how you package it. Do not go outright and tell the client, oh, prices have increased. You have to give it to them in such a way that they're not going to really feel it from the message, because clients are not going to feel the gap that is left by the deduction of an inch. Like if you are doing a 10-inch at 100K, now you're doing it at 90. I mean, and now you're doing a 9-inch at 100K. It's not going to be really noticeable if you allow the clients, like you can say, for 100,000, you can get a choice of 2 flavors, and you give them vanilla and strawberry. So they're not going to really feel that much of a difference. Most clients are not going to pull out rulers to measure and see the length of the cake. It has happened before, but most of them are not going to be. And if they've been your loyal clients and your loyal supporters, they will understand. A few of them might come and say, hey, the cake is small. You'll be like, yeah, we increased the price, but you got 2 flavors for that price. I don't know if I've answered you.
Thank you, Chantal and Jean. And just to summarize on your 2 points, package your message well, and also sell value as opposed to selling the cost of the cake. Don't tell someone I've spent so much on the cake, so I have to charge you this much. Tell them I have improved in this way in terms of my flavors and my textures and my decorations. So you're getting that in exchange of what I'm asking for. Okay, we have another question from Uganda Trimmings. What can we do to help the baking community during this time? I don't know if he's asking us, them, the suppliers, or he's asking how bakers can help bakers during this time. Does any of you ladies have a way of answering Uganda Trimmings? I don't know, maybe if what do we want from them as suppliers of cake stuff?
Just consistency on my part. I know it's hard for everybody, it's difficult for everybody, but if we can try and keep and maintain consistency so that even the clients don't feel that much of a difference. If we can have the whatever they've been providing, the colors, the flavors, the ingredients that they've been providing, if they can just try and keep up, because we know it's a difficult time now, but if they can try as much as possible to
stay
up,
consistent,
so that, yeah, so we don't feel it in that way, our clients won't feel it. It would help a lot, but again, we're also understanding, customers are also understanding, everybody's understanding of the situation.
Yeah. Jean, any contribution?
Not really, but all I would say was it would be, because people can't leave their homes, have an option for delivery. Yeah.
Okay. We have a few comments. Thank you, ladies, for the wonderful insights from Technopop 3. Chantal, thank you for the cash cow concept. I am in the book lending business, but it is something I have never given much thought about. Thank you, from Rosie Sembatia. We also have a comment from Ann Waja. Great job, ladies. Thank you for sharing so wholeheartedly. A very nice initiative for the times. L Cake Equipment. Okay, they are suppliers of cake accessories, machines, and ingredients, but they would like to start importing to Uganda. Is there any advice you can share with them? Chantal and Jean, but let's keep it short because we've run over time. Any advice for equipment and supplies person who would like to start business in Uganda?
I'll leave Jean to answer that.
It's going to be very brief.
Yes.
First, find out what is already on the market, because now I know that there are so many options, especially in Chinese stores, like China North already has so much baking equipment. If you go there, they have so many options. So before you go and start importing new equipment, because those are very high costs, first find out what is available, how much do they charge, and if you're to import, will you be able to compete with them? And is there a market for the people who are going to buy your equipment? Because maybe you can go and find out from them, how long does this oven sit in your shop? Has it been here for a year or just a month? Then maybe they won't tell you, I don't know, maybe they will, but I mean, you can just ask. So when you find that out, then you'll know whether it is worth it to spend the money to import that stuff.
Okay. Chantal, anything?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Doreen from Gulu says she would like to get to know if there is anyone here who can teach her about this business.
Chantal.
Doreen needs to be specific. Doreen needs to be specific. Like, what about the business that she wants to learn? Does she want to learn how to bake, how to decorate, how to be a supplier? I don't know what exactly she wants to learn, but she needs to be specific. If it's about baking, learning just baking 101 or decoration or how to be a baker, there are so many schools that offer that sort of training, that level of training. Within Kampala, I know over about more than 4 options. I don't know about any in Gulu, but just a quick search on Facebook will help her find out anyone who will be able to help her. There are very many. You won't, especially in Kampala, you won't miss out.
Okay.
The Facebook pages, or you can go to Cake Shop Uganda and find out from there. There are so many people who are willing to teach. There are baking schools, there are bakers who teach in their own bakeries. So Doreen, you need to be specific, but then also the answers are all on Facebook.
Okay, we have Mercy, gorgeous. I have unmuted your mic. Okay, I'm trying to unmute your mic so you can ask your question. Hello, Mercy. Mercy.
Thanks so much for the sharing.
Yes, Mercy.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hear me?
Yes.
Thanks so much for the sharing.
Okay.
Thanks so much
welcome.
for the sharing. Currently, I'm a teacher, but I do baking as part-time. My challenge is marketing. I am very shy, so I really find it hard to go out there and market. For instance, currently I do cookies that are very rare in terms of the shape, and you find that whenever they've done so that I can explore the opportunities. Thank you so much.
Hi, Mercy. I don't know if we all got your question. I couldn't hear you well. You kept your feed kept getting chopped up. I think the gist of what you asked is how to start marketing yourself when you're very shy. I think the main thing is you have to get over yourself, because you're now the biggest roadblock in that next step of selling your business. You have to teach yourself how to speak to people, how to speak confidently about your business and about your craft. No one else is going to do it for you. You might employ someone, but you're the only one who understands the vision that you want for your business. Jean and Chantal, any other contributions? I sounded very harsh, although I didn't mean to.
No, you're telling the truth.
If she's very shy.
Yeah.
Just go on.
Okay.
I know,
I'm saying,
Chantal, you keep saying you're very shy.
by the
I am.
I'm also very shy, by the way. But then you cannot be shy and in business. They just don't go together. That's it. Yeah.
You have to dry
Okay.
yourself.
Get over yourself.
Can, you can
Yes, I
explore
don't know
social
if,
media.
yeah, but you have to practice, stand in front of a mirror and pretend you're speaking to a client who does not want to listen to you. And once you can convince that imaginary client, it's going to be easy for the others. And also make sure you're giving a quality product. Because there is no way you're going to sell something that is subpar and think you're going to sell it. You'll sell it confidently to the first 5 people, but then they're going to tell everyone that you have nonsense. So make sure your product is good and then train yourself. You have to learn to be confident.
The reason why many people are shy is because they are scared of what people will say or think about them. You just have to learn how to stop caring about what people say. There are so many people who have told me my stuff is bad. It was the worst cake I've ever eaten, and don't even call me again. But I still called them. I gave them like 2 months, and then I started by sending an SMS. Okay, so I've changed it a little. Do you want to try it this time? And usually people are willing to adjust. People are nice, especially Ugandans. They're very nice. So don't be scared. Just pick up the phone and call them. People are nice. They won't be rude to you. Even if they're rude to you, it's okay. Just call the next person. It's okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you again. Some advice on determining the price in case you're new in the business. That is from Joel. Now, because we are running, we've taken this longer than we had planned, and that's not pertaining to the topics we had today. Joel, if you can send that to the email address I shared earlier, concepts.ug@gmail.com, we will answer that in another meeting when we talk about costing and pricing. Also, we have a comment from Latif Salim who says, thank you, ladies. From Taiba Kitchen. Also, Cindy Susan says, thank you for the presentation. I don't know if everyone let us know where you're calling in from. I've seen Rosette in the UK. Hi, just give me a wave. Very happy to see you join us. Oh, let me unmute you. Yes, Rosette.
Sorry, I came in late. I forgot the timing.
No problem. She's one of the ladies I look up to. She's one of the ones who gave me that boost to actually start Judges Bex. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Sorry.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I look up to you as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Chantal, nice to meet you face to face. I know your cake business, and Jean as well. And Dr. Ann keeps talking about you guys. So I'm really I've got a few bakers I've seen, and I love your work. Keep up the good work. Thank you for hosting this.
Thank you too.
You're going places.
Thank you too.
We are all
I saw a raise. Pardon?
We are all learning. We are all in
yes, we are.
process. Every day you learn something new. So
yes. Thank you, Rosette. Now, I don't know if we have any more questions. I saw someone had raised their hand, but now it's down. Okay, if you have any other questions, because we are closing in a few minutes, if you have any other questions, please send them to the email address, concepts.ug@gmail.com, and we will definitely get back to you. We're going to have a transcript of this whole meeting available. So if you can send an email to that email, so we have it and we can send it to you, as well as recordings of this meeting. There's the email app. You can also we'll also upload this on our social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. And or you can also WhatsApp me on that number. Just a moment. My assistant is giving me some questions. Yes, Chantal and Jean, we will share their, I don't know if you can share your social media handles. So if someone has a question for you, they can get in touch. Chantal?
On both Facebook and Instagram, we are Creme de la Creme Kampala. Facebook, just the regular space is Creme space de la Creme Kampala. Then Instagram, Creme _ de _ la _ Creme _ Kampala _ So on
Okay.
Instagram, it's just Creme de la Creme Kampala with underscores. On Facebook, it's just the way it is.
Yes, that's how you spell creme, not cream, but creme.
Yeah.
Just so we get to the correct place. Then, Jean, your social media?
On Facebook and on Instagram and on YouTube, the social media handle is Jollity Healthy Treats. Jollity
Okay,
Healthy Treats.
Like what appears under her name on the screen?
Is
So that's what you
is
put
on
in.
on all the social media handles, yes.
Okay. Thank you again so much. First of all, to everyone who has stayed the entire call with us. Thank you for joining us. I know we have many plans, even if we are all locked at home, but we have many plans. Thank you for taking the time to join us, and we hope to see you on the next meeting. Thank you, Chantal, for sharing with us about branding, about the cash cow. I think I should definitely put that into practice. Thank you, Jean. I am one of those people who keep sending you clients because no, eggless, no, no dairy, no. I know where to send them. And thank you actually for starting that, because it's a part of the market that was left empty, and you're feeling that. So thank you for that. And thank you for sharing about your business. And I hope people are thinking of this in another way, where you don't have to follow the crowd, but cut out a part of that market and try to make it your own, build it yourself. I'm very good at not following the crowd, as my designs tend to show. So I understand about a niche business, and thank you for sharing. Thank you, Chantal. Thank you to the people who are in the background who keep putting the screens up with the beautiful graphics. Thank you, everyone. I will be letting you know when we'll have another meeting, maybe in about 2 weeks' time. So until then, God bless.
God bless you.
And keep safe.
Bye.
Bye-bye.